Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this week's feature match was Eosmon versus Security Control, and what we found out is that Eosmon has a great matchup against Security Control. It's all about hard playing, just level 5 after level 5 after level 5, and really there is no other deck in all of Digimon like this deck. So if you want something just totally different, you want to break the norm, go way outside the box, maybe check this out. It might just really revitalize the game for you and just give you a whole fresh take on the game for, a little bit of fun. Am I thinking this is competitive? Not necessarily. It does have its drawbacks, which we will go over, but I think this deck is still a blast to play. And yes, I am in a bathrobe right now. It is incredibly cold in my house, and yeah, rocking the Batman bathrobe. Don't forget our memory marker this month is going to be the Egg of Miracles. I got that wrong last time. It is the Golden Armor Egg. This is for your Magnamons here. Super, super awesome. This is our prototype that we have so far. What we'll do is we'll take a mold of this and cast it. So then all of our finished products will all be resin copies. So we'll have hopefully a working resin copy here very, very soon. Once we get this finished up, it is a very long and slow process. Also, if you'd like any of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below, and there you can get access to all of our previous memory markers with a few updates to them. The benefit, though, of getting the memory marker through Patreon is you get it a whole month early before it ever even goes live for sale on Coffee, as well as, depending on the memory marker, you can get them cheaper if you go through and get them on Patreon, because Patreon has the shipping included. So let's just jump right in here to this. So first up for our egg, we have 4 Pinamon. Now this is the new one out of BT6 that if you attack an opponent's Digimon trigger, draw one. This deck doesn't do a whole lot of evoing, so because of that we lose out on a tremendous amount of draw power in the deck. Now that is offset by tons of abilities that they do the reveal so many cards off the top of the deck, get to add something to hand, so they do a whole lot of just searching. But again, a little bit of draw I think could still help the deck tremendously, because we do find it can be sort of bricky in a weird way. So while none of the other eggs felt remotely useful, because pretty much the inheritable will only ever apply to basically your rookies, most everything else is completely useless as far as the eggs are concerned. Now, even the draw power, you have to attack into an opponent's Digimon. If you look over here at these 3 rookies, these are the only 3 rookies we have in the deck. We have 1,000, 1,000, and 2,000. Just clue you in, they're not going to be swinging over much of anything. If you are extremely, extremely lucky, you could maybe crash with something else with 1,000 DP. But more often than not, you won't get to even use the egg's effect. So which egg you go with, I think, is kind of irrelevant. Just there's an off chance that you can maybe crash with these and take something with you, or in some cases, 2 of ours have on deletion effects, so you could deliberately crash them into something, trigger their on deletion effects, as well as trigger your egg for that draw power. Now that's just try to help you get into your engine, but be warned, doing strategies like that can hurt your overall progress when you have the option that you could have swung into security and got a free security check instead. So just keep that in mind. Next, though, we got Terriermon. This is the green memory blocker, one of the first memory blockers we've had since BT3. Normally, for BT6, I've been bumping all my memory blockers up to 3 counts, but the deck actually had room for 4, so I went ahead and bumped it up. You could, we'll get to the end, a couple cards you could maybe bump up instead of this. You could cut this back down to 3, but I feel like memory blockers are so relevant in this format that, yeah, sure, if you've got the slot for it, might as well throw it in there. So, you're going to be cutting things down, stopping things such as Gabumon, the Bond of Courage or Bond of Friendship deck, right? So turning off all 3 of those option cards that they're running that are gaining them memory is going to be invaluable. So good. So just it's a huge meta counter. Absolutely loving memory blockers this format. Next, we've got Wormmon, which is making a comeback here, all the way back from BT3 as well. And this is on deletion. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 level 4 or 5 Digimon, a card among them, to your hand. The rest of them go to the bottom in any order. So, a huge portion of this deck, massive portion of this deck, is level 5 Digimon. So that's like the Eosmon's whole strategy is that you get to just play level 5 after level 5 after level 5. So having a card like Wormmon to help you dig for level 5s is really awesome. So we absolutely love having this guy in the deck. We have all of our rookies here can Digivolve on top of our eggs for draw power, as well as we can always just hard play these guys for 3. Not the worst options available. Next, we got Morphomon, which is very similar to Wormmon, and it's on deletion. Reveal five cards instead of 3. You get to add 1 Manoa, which is the white tamer for the deck, the memory fixer, and 1 Digimon with Eosmon in its name. And then put the rest to the bottom in any order. So we get to add 2 things off of this. Normally, you think, okay, well, once you add a tamer and you get that tamer on field, like a memory fixer, you don't need it anymore. This deck is kind of the exception. The more tamers you get on the field, the better the boss monster gets. Very, very similar to how Shine Greymon works, where once you bring that, level 6 out, depending on how many tamers, you get to do so many things. So having multiple tamers, or tons of tamers, as I say, is actually pretty valuable. So being able to add off the Morphomon your tamers in addition to your Eosmon is great. So absolutely must have in this deck at a max 4 of 100%. Next, we got our level 4 package here, and I went with Woodmon. I'm a big fan right now of going into 6,000 DP blockers. If you want to play blockers and actually use them, go for the 6,000 DPs this format, simply because just doing a meta call, okay, that's all this is just, calling what the meta is going to be. We see a lot of Jesmon being played. Jesmon can delete 5,000 DP Digimon when it attacks. So being able to keep your blocker on field after the Jesmon swings is very important, because that's going to do stuff like when they go for their OTK, they're going to try to go into Omnimon to blitz and swing for game. Having your blocker still be alive and not deleted by the Jesmon is incredibly important. Also, if they try to go into like the hybrid that's going to Digivolve on top of their tamer and swing for game, you can stop that as well. So really, really liking Woodmon. Even the 5 play cost, we've really had it come up that the 5 play cost here isn't the worst. If you look here, a lot of our rookies, we don't necessarily want to Digivolve on top of them. We kind of want them to get deleted or stay on field for blocking memory purposes, that sort of thing. So having the 5 play cost is not the worst thing. So Woodmon is what we went with overall. Next, we got the level 4 Eosmon, and this is where the Eosmon line starts. And this is on play. You may play 1 white tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then your opponent may play 1 tamer card from their hand without paying its memory cost. It says white, so it's completely open, and that's one of the best things about this deck is that the only real stipulation is the Morphomon limiting you to Manoa. But a lot of the other stuff is all about just having white tamers on field. So we'll get to the end, but we can use stuff like Matt and Ty as well in this deck, and you get to just play them for free. How that's mostly relevant just to get more white tamers on field, as well as just getting that tremendous amount of memory that they're going to give you. Combine that with your memory fixer like Manoa, and you can be jumping up to 5-7 memory every single turn, which, if you saw the feature match, came up a lot. So just being able to hard play this for a 4 play cost, by the way. So you're paying literally for the tamer, okay? And you get a level 4 body on field at the same time. That's a great value out of this card. As well as it can Digivolve on top of your rookies. If you are in that situation, it does come up where you want to just Digivolve this instead. Go for it. The Inheritable is basically the same thing of when attacking, you can play 1 white tamer with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So Inheritable basically just tags right along with its whole strategy of here. You just get to keep playing these white tamers over and over for free, and that's the best way to go about it, is to stack your deck with all these white tamers so you can flood the field with tons of tamers, like we discussed, similar to the Shine Greymon strategy, and you get to do it all for free, which is incredibly valuable. Next, we got our level 5 Digimon. First line, you can include up to 50 copies of cards with this card's card number in your deck. So particularly the BT6-085. So you got 086 here and 083. Now they all have the same name, but it's only the 085 that can be up to 50 copies in a deck. You can literally build your entire deck of just this one card. Absolutely absurd, but it is crazy. In addition, when attacking, you may play one level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying its memory cost. And this right here is what kind of really pulls the deck together. This whole ability right here. Every time you attack with this level 5, you get to just keep playing other level 5s. Now, yes, you can play the level 4 as well, but we're playing 14 copies of this level 5. Normally, we play 8 level 5s in a deck, right? But in this deck, we get to continuously play them over and over and over for free, multiple different ways. It's invaluable to have tons of these copies in your deck. And it also reflects in the mega here the importance of having multiple copies of these. So just continuously just attack with this into security. Even if this dies, boom, you have another one to replace it. It attacks. It just continuously cycles. Yes, they do have summoning sickness, but that's okay. You just turn after turn, you can continuously keep swinging with these guys. Great stuff. Also has the inheritable of here of plus 1000 DP. That's going to be really valuable for this right here. So our mega is Eosmon. 13,000 DP just innately is already very, very impressive. 5 Evo cost is brutal, though. And unfortunately, we can't even Hidden Potential discovered this because you have to have a green Digimon evolve into this level 6. So if the level 5 was green, we could do it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But it is still a phenomenal card either way when Digivolving. For each tamer in play, you and your opponent is what they're hinting at there. For each tamer in play, comma. So it counts your opponent's and counts yours. You may place one level 5 or lower Eosmon from your trash to the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards in any order. So all those turns where you just continuously just crashed level 5 after level 5 after level 5 into security or into your opponent's Digimon. That 6,000 DP is perfect because that can crash with all the 6,000 DP blockers that everyone's playing to counter Jesmon. So that's awesome because your trash is going to be filled with these guys. You're going to have level 4s as well. And you can just stack all those underneath this Eosmon. And if you place 2 or more, you can just 2 or more. That's all you need. Delete any Digimon on the field. That alone is just very, very nice. 5 Evo cost makes sense when you're going to just delete any Digimon you want and get this massive body on field. In addition, your turn, for every 3 Digivolution cards this Digimon has, it gains security attack plus 1. So yeah, you're going to be adding in all these Eosmons from the trash, but also if you just happen to Evo all the way up from your egg, so you go like Pinamon into Terriermon, and then you go into the level 4 Eosmon, and then you evoed into the level 5 Eosmon, which we did see come up in the feature match where they evoed all the way up because they were playing against security control. They needed to play it safe, and they wanted to protect their level 5, so they evoed all the way into it in the raising area, then promoted it, then went into the Eosmon. That alone is going to set you up with 4 inheritables Digivolution sources, as well as however many else, 4, 5 more inheritables that you're going to get a place underneath that. So then for every 3 Digivolution cards it has, you get security attack plus 1. So this guy can start swinging for 4 security kind of easily. +3 is not the most difficult thing to get on this guy, especially like I said, if you evo all the way up from egg in the raising area and then go into this and then place all your extras underneath it. Yeah, you can do it relatively easy. You need 5 Eosmons in trash, which is not that difficult in this deck. I assure you, it's not that difficult. So then swing in with tons of these 1000 DP pluses. If you saw the feature match, well, that was weird. The Eosmon swung with 21,000 DP into security, hit into a Wyvern's Breath for minus 15,000, and still just kept on trugging through all that security. Just completely wiped out the whole security stack in one go, and it hit into a Wyvern's Breath on the first check. So yeah, that DP buff is actually kind of relevant. Just absolutely phenomenal card for sure. Really, really cool. Really, really unique. Now, I will say that most of the time with this 5 Evo cost, you'll never get a swing with it on that same turn that you Evo into it. More often than not. Now, if you're playing against something like Security Control that likes to give you tons of memory, maybe the opportunity could show up for you to do something like that. But either way, still a very, very cool card. Now, let me scroll way down here. And this is where sort of kind of the flex spots begin. First, we have Needle Spray. I went with Needle Spray at a 2 of, simply because when we can finally go into that mega and you want to swing with that massive security attack bonus that you've got, you do not want a blocker in your way. So being able to Needle Spray that blocker down, absolutely, essential for something like that. Like an OTK deck sort of thing, you want to be able to stop, get the blockers out of the way so you can go ahead and punch through. Just at a 2 of, though, just for those really, that one situation where it finally comes up and you can swing really big. Any other time, it's kind of cloggy. It doesn't really do too much else for your deck for a lot of strategies. And it is green. We do have tons of green, or we have 4 green eggs as well as our other rookies as well. So being able to trigger this is fairly easy. I went with 3 Cutting Edge. In our feature match we had 4, but I kind of like the 3. It's kind of awkward. So it's a 6 play cost, whereas the level 5 is only a 5 play cost and the 4 is only a 4 play cost. And what it does, it allows you to play an Eosmon from your hand for free. It's like, it's more expensive to play this card than it is to just play them for free, but then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the Digimon played with this effect. So if you play the level 5, like I discussed earlier, is 6,000 DP. So you can delete anything that matches it. So boom, delete blockers that are in your way when you get to play this level 5 for free from your hand. And at 14 copies, it's pretty common and easy to make sure that you constantly have copies of this card in your hand. So being able to use Cutting Edge is pretty much always going to be live for you. Now, it is a white, so make sure you do have your white tamers in play by this point. But again, should be pretty easy. We're playing 7 white tamers in this deck. Just quickly, the tie-in mats here, we can play them for free. If we couldn't play them for free, I wouldn't worry about it, because the secondary effect of this security attack +1 is going to be completely irrelevant. It's going to do nothing for you. Again, though, we get to play this guy for free. We don't want to play something like I'm drawing a Takumi, so where you suspend him to draw one. You don't do that much evoing in this deck. So you're going to lose a whole lot of value. A lot of your evoing happens in the raising area for the most part, so you'll never really get as much value out of Takumi. And if you're going to play the Tamers for free anyways, might as well go with something more expensive, so this 4 play cost is completely irrelevant, and you're just going to constantly gain 2 memory. As long as your opponent has a level 6 or 7 on field, you're going to gain this memory. So pretty easy to trigger. Next, we went with 4 Manoa. Yes, 4, because she is a really good card to help with our searching. We talked about how we have Morphomon as well as Wormmon to help us, dig with their on-deletion effects. But hers, in addition to being our memory fixer for the deck, which is awesome, your turn, when you play an Eosmon, any of your Eosmon, your 4, 5, or 6, you may suspend this tamer to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 tamer card, no color stipulation, anything. So herself or Ty and Matt. Heck, if you want to play some green tamers, whatever. You just get to add a tamer. And it says add one tamer card or one Digimon with Eosmon in its name among them to your hand. So we got tons of Eosmon targets as well. So you will always be able to hit something off of Manoa. So that's really great. And then, of course, the rest go to the bottom in any order. Also, opponent's turn. While you have an Eosmon in play, your opponent's tamers don't unsuspend during their unsuspend phase. This never came up in our feature match, but there are plenty of times, depending on the decks that are going to be played a lot in the format, something that really comes to mind really immediately is a card like Kari. Purple Kari is used in a lot of decks right now, where they just suspend her every time the opponent loses security. They suspend her, they gain a memory. So if you attack into them, you could potentially pass your turn away because of the Kari, or they can extend their turns by suspending Kari. So say they go into like a Mastemon for 4, they're gonna send one of their security away, boom, they can suspend that Kari, so that 4-cost Evo Mastemon or 4-cost Evo Dynasmon as well kind of turns into a 3-cost Evo. So if a memory fixer, they can keep it on their turn. But Manoa being able to turn off the Kari so they can't just keep using that effect over and over turn after turn is actually pretty awesome. So really, really digging that. Another one is like Izzy and Joe. You can turn them off as well. So really, really cool cards, and that's actually the total of the deck. It's incredibly short compared to most builds, simply because of all the Eosmons that we're playing. The 14 copies in total there. Maybe I should zoom out a little bit more to try to fit it in there. It is kind of funny that you can just kind of spread them out like that. It's pretty wild. 14 copies of a card in your deck of the same card, just completely breaking every game mechanic, every trading card game like I've ever seen before. So really, really awesome. And that's the total deck. It is kind of tiny in a way when you look at it with all those Eosmons. It's not like super, super wide. But I'm really, really liking it. I think it's a lot of fun. It is so unique and just a nice, refreshing way to play the game. And honestly, it's just kind of hilarious. Just play Eosmon, play this like same card over and over. Like even your opponent is going to crack up like over just the absurdity of this whole mechanic of being able to play tons of Eosmons. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really, really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yamon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very, very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves. So the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much, unfortunately, they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways. So definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.